Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, everyone joining us for this very interesting match. I think this is going to be. It's Japan versus Poland in the eSailing Nations Cup. I already see some people on the chat. RG Tyler, good luck to Poland. It's going to be a tough one. It is definitely going to be a tough one. We're going to talk about a bit both teams, and FC Rich predicting a 7-0 against Japan again. This is where I want it to go. Now, both teams have played several matches already. Poland played 4 matches in total, and they won half of them. And Japan only played 2 matches so far, but winning both of their matches 7-0. So it's a very competitive and a very strong Japanese squad that we have this year. We'll see how the Polish fare. And I think it's going to be a tight match. I don't think the Japanese are going to be able to do the 7-0 again. But we'll see. 5 seconds to go. On the Japanese squad, we have Fun, KGR, and Kanako. KGR, one of the biggest names in eSailing. I think he was part of the OES finalists several times, grand finalists. So very top level for this player. Kanako is the regular female that we see on the Japanese squad. They're a pick for every Nations Cup. This is the player that they pick to represent the female side of the squad, and she definitely has a level to compete over here. On the Polish side, it's going to be Shidla Fit and Attila and Kila, the other way around. We've seen them already several times, 4 times already. This combination. I think this is not the first time these two play together. It's pretty tight so far. 1-4, 2-3 for the Japanese. We'll see how this goes on to the last downwind. Reminion78, bonjour. Hier, j'ai gagné 2 places pour le film La Vallée des Fous de Jean-Paul Rouve sur votre clavier, mais je n'ai toujours pas reçu les places par email. Est-ce normal? Reminion, so sorry for those not speaking French. I'm going to answer in French and I'm going to translate my answer right after that. Tu devrais être contacté soit sur le jeu, soit via mail. Je verrai avec mes collègues comment ils vont vous contacter. Mais ils vont vous contacter. Ça avait peut-être déjà fait sur le jeu, donc vérifiez sur le jeu. Maritz, nice to see you over here. What's your prediction of the chat? What's the chat's prediction for Japan versus Poland? And AC finds Japan scared of Shidla Will. Shidwo is one of the top Polish players, so he definitely has a level to do some damage. And Moritz going for a 6-1 in favor of Japan. With this current configuration, if we snapshot the scoreboard on the left, the round will go to Poland, because even though it's a tie in the number of points, so 2 + 3 = 5 and 1 + 4 equals 5, the fact that the Japanese have first place will give the win to the Polish if they stay in that order. And Sweet Sailor, hopefully this is an even match. I think the Polish definitely have the level to compete against the Japanese, even though the Japanese have had a perfect run so far in the eSailing Nations Cup, winning both of their matches 7-0. And in their previous match, I don't remember for the first match, but in their previous match, they got first and second place every single time, and got first, second, and third in like 5 of the races. So we'll see how they fare. And Alberto, a narrow win for Japan, so that's like a 5-2 or 4-3. And it's for sure going to be a tough one for Poland, with a prediction of 5-2 in favor of Japan from Chris. And we saw the first penalty given over here. Both Polish sandwiching KGR. And they want to make sure that they can push at least a Japanese at the end, at the back of the fleet, because if the Japanese have 4th place, then it's a win for the Polish, no matter the configuration that they have. It's a 2-3 or 1-2 or 1-3. Let's talk maybe a bit about the format of the eSailing Nations Cup. So we're still in the round robin, meaning so we have seven teams in total. It's going to be Italy, Poland, France, Japan, Sweden, Germany, and Switzerland. And each team is going to play each other in this round robin. So we already had a decent amount of matches. Well, 4 matches for Poland, for example, only 2, however, for Japan. And well, depending on the score at the end of each encounter, they're going to get a certain amount of points. So a victory is worth 3 points, but if you have 5-2, sorry, if you have 6-1 or 7-0, you're going to get a bonus point, so you're going to get 4 points. And if you lose the encounter, you get 1 point, and you can get a defensive bonus points of some sorts if you manage to stick to the score. So if you lose 3-4 or 2-5. And then we create a ranking with all these points. We tally up the points from each encounter, and that will create the seeding for the knockout stage. So the first will go against the last, the second against the before last, and so on. And we have 1 and 2 for the Polish player, both Polish player in front. They are getting close to the mark. Watch out for with Attila Kila. Shidofin slowing down to try to protect his teammate and maybe put the penalty on Kanako, who took the penalty from Attila Kila. Shidofin slowing down slightly more. And if the Polish can start the last upwind leg with this 1 and 2 position, it's going to be very hard for the Japanese to get back into it. As we see KGR trying to luff up and put a penalty on Shidwofin. Attila Kila, however, is going to go straight for the mark, and I think that's the right decision. Get to the mark first, get this upwind. Watch out for friendly fire. And this was a very careful mark round in by Shadowfin, KGR, and Kanako. And we're seeing a split from the Polish players. That's what you should do to put the most chances on your side. But very well played so far by the Polish players. If they can keep that until the end, that's going to be the first round for them. We did say that Shidwofin and Attila Kila were 2 top-notch players on the Polish squad. And definitely proving their worth in this first race. So we see Fun KGR underneath Attila Kila trying to control KGR by staying above him, putting him in her wind shadow. And on the right side is going to be Shidofin above Kanako. I think it's going to be a bit too late for the Japanese to do whatsoever to win this round. And if both Polish manage to cross this finish line, then it's going to be the first round that the Japanese have ever lost in this 2024 eSailing Nations Cup, and what a start from Poland. There we have confirmation of the score. It's 1 and 2 for Poland, 3 and 4 for Japan. What a race. First point goes to Poland, and we're going to head over to race number 2, which is going to be a 3v3 Ilka. There you have the scoreboard. 3v3 Ilka 1-0 for Poland against Japan. We're still on the end shape, so it's an upwind reaching leg, long downwind reaching leg, and upwind again, so upwind finish. Changes a lot to what we were used to in the previous eSailing Nations Cup edition, where we were using the classic upwind downwind course that we see on Virtual Regatta. And well, 50 seconds to go. Ilka has some similarities, but also some big differences with the star. So it is quite slow in the upwind, but it is a lot more agile. It is also quite fast on the downwind as well, but with a smaller wind shadow. Still very effective if you can catch someone in it. So we'll see how these players perform. What are their strategies? Sombrero Sport becoming my worst nightmare, apparently. Scaring me, man. 5 seconds to start. Currently, we have Yuko and Zimusp in penalty. And this is the start. So Zimos, Yuko, and Ivario decided to quickly go onto port attack. And as I'm saying that, Ivario is going to attack again. And the GIF TJKG, thank you for the follow. So JYF, this is actually the eSailing Nations Cup. So if you want to play with other players who also stream, there's plenty of them in the community. You can just join our Discord server by typing !Discord. You'll have the link to the Inshore Discord server. And you could play with other people organizing also their regattas. For the Nations Cup, though, it is a federation versus federation team race competition, so it is via World Sailing and your federation. So if you want to participate in this competition specifically, you're gonna have to get close to your federation, your sailing federation, that is. So depending on which country, FIV for the Italians, for example, FFV for the French, Japan sailing for Japan, PZZ for Poland, and so on. Well, a slight advantage to the Japanese for the smart grounding, as we saw a dial down by Tim Janik on Yuko. It's going to be 2 Japanese reaching this first mark. And so in a 3v3, 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 will give you the win. So the Polish need to bring one of the Japanese out of that podium place. And Wimui is going to go straight towards the mark. Full speed ahead. Avario is going to split a bit, trying to drag one of the Polish players and give some clean air to his teammate. But the Polish have also split and are currently, well, in a shape of a line to try to catch up on Wimui when he will jibe. And a penalty, nice defensive move here by Avario onto Vary. And going to attack Zimos, the Polish vice captain, also taking the penalty from Ivario. What a nice move and defensive maneuvers by Ivario. Looks like he had it. And he is not done. He's going to look to penalize some more Polish boats. Currently, it's only Temjanik on the podium from the Polish side. Barry is not from Vario, but so is Yuko. And well, to win the 3v3, you're gonna need to score 10 points or less and that is not the case for the Polish so far. Mui is going to continue to sail. He's not slowing down. He's going to reach this upwind first. And the two Japanese are currently sandwiching the three Polish. We're quite close to each other, so watch out for the friendly fire when they reach that mark. And well, that's the answer from the Japanese for losing this this first round. And we'll see if a Polish player can push can push Funyuko out of the top three. If they can push Yuko out of the third position, that's the only way for them to win with this current configuration. And totally agree with you, Pimpy. That was an exceptional run by both teams. We see some great defensive maneuver from Ivario, who was being chased down by the Polish, putting 2 penalties, allowing Mumu to keep clear and continue to sail in some clean wind, and also allowed Yuko to get back into the mix. And currently it's a 1-2 for the Japanese. We do see Tim Janik alone on the left side over here. With a favorable shift, he could maybe take some places. Let's switch back to the right side of the fleet as Yuko is tacking over Zimusp. So if Temjanik is able to cross pass with the Japanese, he's going to be the last and only hope for the Polish to maybe have a change in this race, but he tacks, and so it doesn't look like the Polish are going to be able to push one of the 2 Japanese in front over here in out of that top 3 position. And looks like we're going to have a win for Japan for race number 2. As the 2 Japanese cross the finish line first. Ooh, Yuko actually had some issues crossing that finish line. I was looking elsewhere. Let's see how the scoreboard sees it. But if it is what I see on the screen over here, it is going to be another win for Poland with this unfortunate maneuver of Yuko getting stuck onto this, face to the wind and not being able to cross the finish line fast enough before the Polish player arrives. What a comeback, and what an unfortunate move for the Japanese, but it is 1-5-6 for Japan, giving the win to the Polish, who arrived to second, third, and fourth. And there we have it, 2-0 for the Polish. All 8 players in. It is a go for this third race in this encounter between Japan and Poland. Japan not having it as easy as they had it in their 2 previous encounters. Well, both previous encounters they won 7-0. They are 2-0 down in this encounter so far after these first 2 races. We'll see how they answer. They could have won the previous round, but with a fancy move from one of the Japanese, they gave the second, third, and fourth place to the Polish, who at the last second therefore took the round. Let's see their answer for this race for sure. Who do we have on each squad? So we have Evario, Kazuki, Japan 985, and Ozil on the Japanese side, and we have Vari, Krysiak, Shadowfin, and Mieszko Morawski on the Polish side. 10 seconds to go for this third race. And an early start for Evario, who is going to take the 10-second penalty. Japan 985 also in penalty. So the Polish managing to put 2 penalties on the Japanese squad and well taking 3 position in the top 4. So if we're commentating maybe a bit on the players on each squad to start with the Japanese, FSC Kazuki has had a hell of a year so far in the eSailing World Championship, but in also various competitions. He really dominated every fleet race final that he was in. Ozil, Japan 985, Evario are also some big names in the Japanese community that we cannot forget. All of them reaching various finals in various competition. And on the Polish side, Vari, the captain, that we've already seen. Shadowfin is also one of the players that we've already seen in the 2v2 mixed race. And Krysiak and Mieszko are two names that we haven't seen so far in this encounter. I mean, but proved their worth several times in the previous eSailing Nations Cup matches. And well, that was a rough start for Japan. Are they going to be able to catch up on the downwind? It is going to be more Polish players reaching that first mark first. And Ozil and maybe Evario are in a good position maybe to capture some Polish boats, do some sort of mark trap, slow them down, and give an opportunity for FSC Kazuki and Japan 985 to get back into the mix. It's definitely not an easy match for either team, so Oju decided to just keep sailing. Evario as well, no mark trap to be seen by either team. And Mieszko Morawski deciding to slow down a bit, allowing Evario to catch up. And Ozil is just sailing fast in front. Evario following the same line, and he's going to be covered by Krysiak. Meanwhile, Mieszko Morawski decided to go towards the left where we see this wind pressure, this darker waters, going at 15 knots. That's 4 knots faster than Ozil. And what's happening behind with Kazuki, Vari, and Japan 985? Vari is going to try to fend off Japan 985. And Polish still in a pretty favorable position according to the ranking on the left, with still 3 spots in the top 4. Seeing some duels here between Ozil and Mieszko. But that means that the Polish players currently have the 1 and 2 spot. And if you have 1 and 2 in a 4v4, you just have to stay away from that 7 and 8 position. And we almost had an attack here between Ozil and Krysiak. Ozil deciding to sail above Krysiak to put him in his wind shadow, and Krysiak is going to be surrounded by Japanese boats. Bobbing and weaving to try to avoid the penalty. But he is going to take one at the end from Ozil, and at the mark over there, Shadowfin and Mieszko Morawski are still going. Shadowfin easing his sail, slowing down, looking what's happening behind him. And we're going to see the battle here between Very and Japan 985 with these little dance move, and it's going to be Japan 985 who takes a penalty. We're likely going to see another penalty here between Krysiak in Japan and Ozul, and Krysiak is the one who's going to take the penalty. As we now have 3 Japanese and 3, 4, 5, but the Polish have 1 and 2, so as long as they don't have 7 and 8, they should be good. And a double penalty here at the mark, 1 from each, well, for each team, and a third penalty, so 2 penalties for the Japanese squad. That's going to put them in a difficult position for this last upwind. This is their last chance to climb the ranking and be in front of the Japanese, but it does look like the Polish are in a very good position to win this third round, making it a 3-0 for Poland if it continues like that. And the next race after that is going to be a 5v5 offshore racer, which is a more technical in the sense that it can be harder to manage as a boat, I mean. Archie Tyler looks deliberate, so they don't finish too high in the table. KGR slowed in first race. Well, depending on the situation, I don't recall that. Depending on the situation, you might prefer slowing down, because team racing isn't all about finishing first. It's about the team finishing better as the opponent team, so sometimes giving up first place is the way to go. Because the first place can make you lose the race. But it does look like unless Poland does another kind of maneuver like the Japanese did in the previous race, where they were not able to cross the finish line because of being ahead to win and being pushed backwards, it is going to be a 3-0 for Polish for this this third race. There is also the strategy of maybe you don't want to finish too high in the rankings. Though I won't see the point of doing that, because the higher you finish, the team you're going to go against in the knockout stage is going to be lower. So it is an advantage to it should theoretically be easier if you finish higher in these first rounds, but it is a clean finish from the Polish. 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the Polish. Thank you, Alberto, for sending out the instructions. But this is the scoreboard for this third race, sorry, and we're still waiting for the Japanese response. Are they gonna let Poland roll over them? But a 3-0 from Poland is definitely not what I expected at first. I did expect a tight match between the two. I did expect like a narrow victory, but I couldn't say for which one. It is 1 second before the start procedure is given. All 10 players are in, so race number 4 is a go. Also the first time in the Nations Cup that the Japanese are not playing at 5 a.m. for them. It is a more comfortable 10 p.m. I believe at their time. And well, the offshore racer is a very long boat compared to the boats we've seen previously. It has a long bowsprit at the front of the boat, which can play some tricks on the players if they're not careful with it. It is fairly maneuverable, and it has good inertia, so it's going to be hard to slow down the opponents. And most of the time, the fleets are going to stay close to each other. And I forgot to thank Rag1759. Thank you for the follow. And 5 seconds to go. And we see POL 35 with a penalty and Kazuki with a penalty as well. No false starts, however. And a very tight fleet on the left over there between Eima, Korba, KGR, Miesco. And we are sailing on a smaller N-shaped course with lighter winds, only 10 knots of wind around Queech. Over there we do see, so a Japanese is leading the fleets, but he is followed by 3 Polish players. The remainder of the Japanese squad is in 5, 6, 7, and 8. Queech pulling out the speed. It might be the time of the day, Moritz. First time they play at this time. They usually play at like 9 p.m. CET, 5 a.m. for them. And a lot of boats at the market, and it is Korba who's going to take the penalty, but not as many penalties as I thought they were going to have. And we did see a bit of a shuffle in the rankings on the left. Some of the Japanese managed to get into the podium places. And sorry, looking at something else. Oh, we see a lot of movements from either boats. I was going to say not a lot of penalties so far, and as I was going to say that Temjanik and Korba both take the penalty from the Polish side. Queech also takes the penalty from pole 35. And against you, Poles improves each duel. Yeah, they are getting better and better. And well, we said it from the start. Poland is definitely one of the top teams this year. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. And we'll see how they fare in their previous matches. Well, in their next matches. So it's going to be a very messy mark rounding again. I'm going to assume pole 35 with the penalty. Queech 31471 also with the penalty. Temjanik with the penalty. Mieszko Morawski with the penalty. I just hope that wasn't friendly fire on the Polish side. But it is 1, 2, 3 for the Japanese as they are going to start this last upwind towards the finish line, giving them the advantage. And will that be the first round for the Japanese? Another penalty for pole 35 given by the Japanese right next to him, Fun KGR. And Vegas under penalty. Vegas captain of this Japanese squad, taking another penalty given by the Polish Mieszko Morawski. But it does look like the Japanese are going to answer for their previous rounds and are going to win this 5v5 in Offshore Racer with a 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's not jinx it for them. but sail simply towards the finish line. And they should get this 4th position. Is Vegas going to be able to overtake one of the Polish? Doesn't look like it. And there we have the final ranking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 for the Japanese, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for the Polish, giving the first win to the Japanese. Here we have the Japanese answer. Are they going to be able to continue on like this, or will the Polish reply again with another victory? The Polish just need 1 round to win this encounter, guaranteeing a +3 in the overall standings. So 3-1 for Poland. Alberto predicting a 3-2, so a Japanese win for this race. We will see how each team decides to tackle this race. But it is going to be a lot closer than fleet racing, as I said just earlier. So we won't see that many recognizable patterns or tactics that we can see in 2v2s, 3v3s, or 4v4s. "20 seconds to start." And Alberto, I'm looking if I can put you as a moderator for the chat. A lot of penalties I'm seeing from Tim Janik, Muimui, Andres. How does the fleet look like? We do see Andres stuck at the start over here. He has taken and so yeah, slight, well, not slight, I'm gonna give the advantage to the Japanese here. A lot more white players at the start, so it is a very good start from Japan for this race. We will see if the Japanese are going to be able to win a 2nd round in a row. But let's see what's happening on the left side over there. Winning combos in the 9v9 is going to be finishing before your opponents. That's all I can say. You don't really, yeah, I don't know how you can predict. Like there's just too many players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is indeed a good one. Yeah, so it's the up and down one, so watch out for the mark rounding. This mark has to be left on port and not on starboard like the end shape. Tim Janik under penalty. He's going to give his position to 2 more Japanese players in this top 4. And under 85 points, you were good, so Well, you see the ranking on the left, so get to your maths, I guess. And let's count. Well, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is going to be 6 for the Japanese so far. 12, 20, 29, 30, 40, 52, 73 more or less for the Japanese at this point. Obviously, as I was counting, there was a shift in the ranking, so we'll see for the last with the last downwind. But they are starting to, well, they're finishing this first downwind, and they're gonna go up to the second upwind. 3 Japanese still in the lead. Is there anything the 4 Polish and the top 9 can do to slow down the Japanese behind them? This will give us a good overview look of where the boats are spreading. Yeah, with this current points, they are getting less and less points overall, which is good for them. That means that they are closer to get this to score the second round, making it a 3-2. Still for Poland, but hopefully for us viewers, it will end on a 3v3, and the last win is going to be decided with the 4v4 F50. POL 35 has already played several races for the Polish squad. So I don't believe he's a new player. But Vegas is far ahead, so he is guaranteeing that first place for the Japanese. But maybe POL 35 or Korba could do a mark trap or try to slow down Ozul and Vario behind them. They need to get more red boats into the higher ranks in the ranking. And I'll check later for putting you as moderator, Alberto. Avoid also wind shadowing your teammates. That's just gonna slow them down and give an opportunity for the opponents to catch. But Vegas has already crossed the finish line. And I believe it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Japanese. No Polish boats near them. 65 points, you think, Alberto, for the Japanese. We still have some shuffles in the ranking. We see Japan 9-5 and a penalty. He's going to be overtaken by Andres and Timjanik. The 7-2 future live about Vendée Globe. We might have future live streams with the Vendée Globe. For the Vendée Globe, you can also follow les propos d'un boc, les topos d'un boc, sorry, and well, basically the two people who were with me for on Sunday, sorry, for the live, for the Vendée Globe live. But type in explanation mark key. these two players are going to cover the Vendée Globe in the chat. And let's get to mathing. So Alberto, that was 67 for the Japanese, meaning that they've taken this one. Show you the score comparison in just a bit. And 104 for the Polish. 2-3 in this encounter so far. Next up is going to be the 3v3 mixed J70 back onto the N-shaped course. Mixed race, meaning that there's at least one female and at least one male on each team. So POL 35, his name is Grasjan. I think he has played before, out for some time and now back. Like Jakub, also out for some time and now back. 10 seconds to go in the 3v3 J70. Last opportunity for Japan to tie up with Poland. If they win this round, it's going to be a 3v3, and the last match is going to be decided with the 4v4 F50. All 6 players in, all 6 players looking like they have control over their boat. So race number 6 is a go. Who is commentating? This is Oscar commentating, also known as 42 on the Discord. But it is I. You're right, FC Rich. I believe this will be a 4-2 Poland, so giving the win to Poland for this 3v3. We have Very, Scheidlofin, and Attila and Kila on the Polish side. So the captain and Attila and Kila and Scheidlofin, who already did the 2v2 mixed race together, so probably know how to sail together. And then we also have Ozul, Kanako, and Fun Yuko on the Japanese side. So we did see a change in the Japanese squad. We're finding, well, just seeing Kanako again, but not racing with, was it KGR in the first round. She's instead racing with Ozul and Yuko. 15 seconds to go. And it is a go clean start for everyone. I know out of bounds, watch out for friendly fire. Barry's going to have to duck down behind his 2 teammates. And is going on port tack, following Kanako and Yuko. Meanwhile, Scheidlofin, and Ozul are staying our starboard. And they are now paired up. 3 pairs in total. Yuko is against Very, Attila Kila is with Kanako or against Kanako, and Scheidlo against Ozul. 3 pods, 3 duels. We'll see who takes it. And thank you, Zai. Big boss from Virtual God, I'm sure. I guess I am. Right, well, fairly even. So far, it's a 3v3, so again, 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 is going to win you the race, so advantage goes to the Japanese, sorry, so far. But like before, if the Polish can take the spots like they currently have 2, 3, 4, that is a win for them. Basically, if you have 10 points or less, you are winning the round. We've seen a dial down from Shadowfin on Kanako and Ozul. Meanwhile, Funyuko is going to position himself above Very and is going to ease his sail to slow down, probably going to try to do a mark trap. No penalty given, but he did slow Very down quite considerably. Ozul decided to stay above, launching his P and covering the Polish players while taking some speed. That was a good maneuver from the Japanese. And I guess this is the tricky part. The tricky part with boats with SPI on the reaching is to decide whether to put the SPI out or not. That completely depends on the wind angle. So we see a split in the Japanese. This is how you should do it. If you're all bunched up together in the same team, well, first off, you might wind shadow your teammate, but also that forces your opponent to make a choice in chasing one of you down, and hopefully you can have the other clear. But Attila Ankila is gonna continue to go onto starboard until the ley line, it looks like, before jibing towards the mark. Meanwhile, Very and Scheidlefin are still in the middle of the leg. Very likely has his eyes on Ozul, and Scheidlefin is going to try to catch up with Yuko. Kanako's still behind there, so she can still do some damage to the Polish. She can still try to slow them down enough so that her teammates can escape the Polish wind shadow. And looks like I also missed a couple of follows. So Diego KK, thank you for the follow, and Moreback 940, thank you for the follow as well. Nice to see you here. I'm also gonna say that we're now at 808 followers in total on the Virtual Gata Twitch channel. So thank you all for joining and following us. This really means a lot to us, and can put eSailing a bit more into the light. Well, Very can potentially catch up on Uzul. He is trying to do some micro adjustments to put as much wind shadow as he can onto his teammate, but he is also being slowed down by his Polish teammate, Shadowfin, behind him. And Attila Akila also arriving on the right. Yuko was the first to reach the reaching mark, followed by his teammate Ozul. These two players are going to reach the upwind first. And we see the Japanese tactic actually for both reaching legs was to continue on upwind slightly. And then when they arrive more or less halfway through the reaching leg, they're going to pull out their speed and head on with a broad reach, gaining speed and also covering any potential opponents under them. Funyuko and Ozul both deciding to go on to port. And Yuko deciding to tack now onto starboard, Ozul following him. As long as they don't cover each other. And the Polish are going to make the choice to split again. I think that's the correct decision to make. You're going to want to hope that you get a favorable shift to catch up onto your opponents, gain some positions in the ranking. But as it stands currently, Japan is going to take the win. Obviously not jinxing anything. And FC Rich. Watch out, FC Rich. You said 7-0 and you jinxed it bad. But it does look like a 3-3 for, well, 3-3 for no one, I guess. Tied between Japan and Poland, which means that we're going to have a hectic and interesting race to witness with the last one, with the 7-race 4v4 F50. But 1 and 2 is going to go to the Japanese, sorry, giving them the win for this round. And a nice comeback from the Japanese side. We'll see if the Polish are going to be able to confirm this, to confirm the last race, the F50, and get a win against the Japanese. If that's the case, that will be the first match that the Japanese lose. Well, it's definitely the hardest match that the Japanese have had so far. And there we have confirmation of the ranking 1 and 2, well, 1-2-6 for the Japanese, 3-4-5 for the Polish, giving the win to Japanese 3-all. And next race is going to start in a bit less than 3 minutes. Here you have the overall standing. 3-3 last race is going to be decided with a 4v4 F50, which is great for us. That means it's going to be action-packed. I'll talk more about the F50 in a second. All 8 players in, it is time to start this last race between Poland and Japan. This race is going to decide who takes the win, who takes 3 points, and who takes 1 point to be added to the overall standings, and I'll show you the overall standings as well. So it is a smaller start zone compared to the one that we're used to in the previous reaching course. It is also a narrower course compared to what we're used to. So there's going to be some more tacking and some more precise maneuvers to be done. Japanese in white still, and the Polish now in this purplish color. And I agree, this is going to be a very exciting race. And we're likely going to see a decisive maneuver in the couple of seconds remaining before they are able to cross the start line. 10 seconds to go. You have to start far so that you reach the start line at full speed. We see one of the Japanese boat over here who pushed out a Polish boat, and a good start from Japan 985, a good start from Wimwe. We see Andres being pushed by Fun KGR, but watch out not to push him against your teammate Kazuki with a penalty. But Japan 985 and Fun KGR are going to be the first one to reach their reaching mark. Polish are close behind though. We also see Simus with a penalty. And currently a 1-2-3 for Japan as they reach the first downwind gate. Andres managing to take third spot for a brief moment there. And a penalty on Attila and Kila and on Krizek, 2 Polish boats being penalized. Penalties are very, how are you going to say, dangerous for the F50, because the F50 is a very fast boat, so a penalty is more or less going to guarantee your opponents to catch up. And another penalty here on Zimusp, putting the Japanese more and more into a dominant position. They still have this 1-2-3 all spread out on the race course. So a brilliant maneuver so far from the Japanese players. Tila and Kilo over here going into this this path between the two ley lines, who's going to attack soon, hoping for a direct path towards the gate. Meanwhile, Japan 985, Kun KGR, and Kazuki are on the left. Do we have any Polish players close enough and capable of doing some damage? They're going to have to more or less consider that they've lost first and second place. But that doesn't mean that they will lose. If they can catch up with the Japanese and put two of them in 7 and 8, they can still win. Obviously, this is not going to be an easy feat. Easier said than done, but the Japanese are still confirming their 1-2-3 position. Attila and Kila still in the chase. We also see Seamless over here close to Mumui. And Gabriel Liviola 21. Poland needs Vari 79. Well, Vari already raced all of the races he could race, so they're limited in the amount and the number of races they can race in each team. So for each team, they're going to have to choose up to 12 players. And out of these 12 players, none of them can race more than 3 races. And 10 of them need to race before race 5, so race 1, 2, 3, or 4. Vari already raced his 3 races, so he's not going to be able to participate in this one. But the Polish still have some pretty big names in there. Attila and Kila, Andres, Simus, and Kryzek, all of them are good. Simus, the vice captain, and Attila and Kila also a finalist in the eSailing World Championship 2024 that we're going to see in. Can we say where the grand final is, Alberto, if you're still here? And the dates? But she is in the grand final, so we will see her later this year in the grand final. I have the 12 players qualify for this event. Meanwhile, on the Nations Cup, Japan still in that 1-2-3 position. Poland struggling to catch up. If the Japanese sail true, they are going to confirm this race for them and win the encounter despite having a rough start. And there we have all 3 Japanese starting this last downwind leg, leading into the reaching. Akira is Alex, the former European female champion. She's also the former European female champion. That's nice. But yeah, there we have it. I don't see anything changing. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 for the Japanese, 4, 5, 6 for Poland, and between Mimui and Kryzek, it could still be a dispute. But whatever happens, the win is going to go for Japan. Penalty here on Kryzek by Mumui, which means that Mumi's going to overtake him and take the 7th place. And well, there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 7 for Japan, 4, 5, 6, and 8 for Poland. Congratulations to both teams. What a comeback from Japan. They had a really rough start. Congratulations to Poland, the only team so far to have really rivaled the Japanese. And it is 4-3 for Japan. There we have it, 4-3 for Japan. Congratulations to Poland, congratulations to Japan. What a comeback. Next match is going to be Italy versus Japan. Italy versus Japan is tomorrow. I'll show you the preview of that match. I'm also going to show you the overall standings after this encounter. I think Japan might take first place from Italy. I'll confirm that in just a second. There we have it. Great job to Japan, great job for Poland again. But Poland is in first place, so they get the defensive bonus point for this narrow loss. Currently at 12 points after 5 games. Japan in second place with 11 points after 3 games. Italy in third place with 10 points after 3 games. France 9 points after 3 games. Sweden 6 points tied with Germany. And Switzerland's with 4 points. Jago BK, is there a Thai team? There is no Thai team in the eSailing Nations Cup, but that doesn't mean that there cannot be in the future Nations Cup in 2025. All you need to do is just get close to your sailing federation and get in contact for them. Ask them about their eSailing initiatives if they have any. It was indeed a nice match, Donnie. I have to agree with you. And tomorrow, Italy versus Japan is going to be a hell of a match as well. Tomorrow we'll be having 2 matches at the same time. So Italy versus Japan is the one who's going to be streamed by Alberto. And we're also going to have France and Germany at the same time. This one will be recorded by myself. We'll give you updates on that match as the scores come through. But yeah, there we have it. I think it's time to wrap it up. Tomorrow we'll see you for Italy versus Japan on the same Twitch channel. It's going to be Alberto. As I just said, thank you all for watching. Congratulations to Japan. Congratulations to Poland as well. That was very well played. A very nice comeback from Japan and a very nice lead from the Polish. And well, this was Oscar, your host, and I'll see you all. Well, I won't see you tomorrow. It's going to be Alberto, so I'll see you all the day after on Wednesday. Bye.